Inspector General issues a new report critical of city workers' time and attendance reporting. The report, which covers 2021, found that the city's time and attendance policy was vague and did not ensure that exempt or salaried employees actually worked during the pay period. Sabrina Wilson has more from the newsroom.
Lee, the report says the city spent $459 million on employee compensation in 2021, and that in recent years there have been multiple reports questioning the attendance of unclassified executive-level city workers, including some former IG's office employees. The report says evaluators learned that time cards of many executive-level employees were approved by individuals who lacked knowledge of their work schedules, and says a survey of HR managers found that 41% of department heads were authorized to approve their own time cards. Also, the review found that the names of former supervisors, some who no longer work for city government, were still listed as authorized approvers of time cards. The IG recommends the city develop standard procedures that require city departments to reassign employees when their payroll supervisor leaves city government, and also calls on the city's chief administrative office to adopt internal controls consistent with best practices to monitor and verify the attendance of exempt or salaried employees, saying it's imperative the city adopt mechanisms that reduce opportunities for fraud, waste, and abuse.
I think the recommendations are just pretty standard best practice stuff. So the only thing I thought was unusual about the report is simply the fact that we know that most of the irregularities are happening in the NOPD, and he chose to make it a general report and not specifically focus on the NOPD.
The report says the city did not have a payroll governance group as required by a CAO policy memorandum, and it says the city rejected the IG's recommendation to strengthen internal controls for time and attendance reporting, and also a recommendation that the CAO's office perform routine reviews of all city policies. Now, in its written responses contained in that IG's report, the city says CAO policies are continuously reviewed, updated, and distributed, and also pointed to CAO Policy Memorandum 72, which relates to payroll and timekeeping procedures. I asked the Cantrell administration for comment today and was referred to the CAO office written responses contained in the IG's report. Lee.
All right.